All right, man, peace. So now this is going to be volume 2 in the Males and Females Cannot Be Friends series. This female right here, Lavon Godfrey, she styles herself as a quote-unquote comedian. As you'll see, she's not very good. But she was in a comedic partnership with the defendant. And due to the dissolution of their friendship, it has also led to the dissolution of their business partnership. The defendant will allege that their relationship dissolved because he believes that she really wanted to sleep with him. And as I tell you, brothers, incessantly, when it comes to male-female relationships, 99% of the time, when a man and a woman form a quote-unquote friendship that they claim is platonic, it's normally based in some level of infatuation, either consciously or subconsciously. And it will eventually come out that one or both parties are attracted to one another. Just think back to how many movies you've seen about male-female friends where the film will culminate in them actually getting married or what have you. Because even in Hollywood, they know that that dynamic is not truly realistic. It's not based in anything that is substantive. If you're that close in friendship, then you might as well be partners. That is the understanding. But anyway, of course, they're going to talk about it, and I'm going to chime in.
Plaintiff Lavon Godfrey says she and the defendant were good friends, and they started performing comedy together. However, Lavon claims the defendant's personality changed after he started sleeping with multiple women, and she's suing him today for defamation.
Bro, coming looking crazy. Got a damn bow tie on. Looking like damn Lil' Kim with an eating disorder.
Defamation and emotional distress. Defendant Mario Hodge says Lavon is evil, and he believes their friendship deteriorated because Lavon is jealous of his successful career.
Oh, that's highly possible. As I tell you, brothers, the two main emotions that tend to galvanize women are boredom and jealousy.
Mario claims Lavon defamed him on social media and even lied that he cheated on his wife.
Well, that happens when you try to make a female a close quote-unquote friend when they're actually attracted to you. That's why I tell brothers, if you have a significant other that you're with and that you're happy with, when you start to allow another female to invade that personal space, claiming to be a friend, all that is a guise for a quote-unquote side chick or another wife or concubine. So be very wary of the different dynamics that you try to create for your own life. Especially when you bring in all these strange women. Many of these females have all types of demons on them because they're floating around this society like leaves blowing in the wind. They try to come into your life with a certain facade, a certain mask, and eventually that mask comes off and their true intention is to bring chaos into your life. Like I always tell you, brothers, the woman in general is an agent of chaos. I know certain people may not like that. It is what it is. That's okay. But when a woman is in your life, she has to be bringing something to the table. It has to be either a family member or a female that you're being intimate with or are about to be intimate with. All these platonic relationships with the woman, it's only going to lead to havoc.
So he's countersuing for harassment, emotional distress, and damaged property.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated. Start with you.
This is I present him as my my comedy brother. When we first started comedy, we was like the new kids on the block. Nobody like me, nobody like him. So me and him linked up together, and I started producing these skits with me and him in it, and we started kind of like getting a name for ourselves, blowing up. But I noticed that his character started to change as far as soon as somebody would help him, after he felt like they done enough, he would get with other people and say that, an example, like a girl helped him and with his face and posters and flyers, acting as if his manager. Well, after he got on, that ain't my manager. She ain't done nothing for me. So I checked him a couple.
That's very common.
Yes, I agree. That is very common, not only in show business, but in life, but particularly in show business. I always say this. Whenever you do something for someone else, what they call pro bono, meaning for the good, you always have to understand that you cannot expect anything back. You cannot even expect gratefulness back. Whenever you do something for someone and you claim that it's out of the kindness of your own heart, make sure that that's exactly what it's for. Because most people are not grateful. They get their comeuppance on their way down. That is when they get humbled. It's like if somebody comes to you and they claim that they're in an adverse situation financially, I always say I don't lend anybody money. I give them money if I have it. And if they don't give it back, they teach me something about them. You never, ever, ever give money away that you cannot afford to give away, because that creates a very stressful dynamic for you, where you have to ask someone for money back because you lent it to them due to them being in a bind. And now because you lent them money that you needed back, now you're in a bind. You only lend money that you can afford to give away. So therefore, they think that is a lend when it's actually you're donating it to them, but you don't tell them that. That oftentimes is a way for you to test someone's credibility as an associate or a friend or what have you. And if they don't thank you, or if they don't reimburse you or act like nothing happened, then you know what type of person this person is, or what caliber of person they are. That's all. But you can't ever make any type of emotional decisions, even when you're trying to be generous. You can't lend to people out of emotion. You have to lend to them, quote unquote, strategically. You never, ever, ever give money away that you cannot afford to give away, unless it's to an extremely close family member or someone who has a high amount of credit with you, meaning they have shown in the past that they're a person of integrity and quality. You don't just give or lend money away trying to act like you're a quote unquote saint and then get upset when you don't get the money back or when you don't get a thank you or what have you. Things always balance out in the end. And in regards to what she stated about this person here, as the judge stated, it's very common for people who are trying to climb up to disassociate themselves from people who they feel like can no longer help them. You have to know when you get involved in the entertainment industry that is part and parcel of that field. So you have to make sure that you get paid for what you worked for. You get paid for what you did for a person, so that you don't feel like you got jilted in the end.
In the entertainment industry?
Well, I guess so, but when you real, you real. I don't know about that. I keep it real.
Very common.
So, anyway, I would put him in everything. Like, he's on all of my projects. Like, everything I ever touched, like, I always had a role for my brother. But on the other hand, when he does stuff, he didn't involve me with anything. It was like, it felt like he was in competition with me, because, as you know, in the industry, men tend to move faster than the women. When he first met me, it was like, you're beautiful, you're funny. Once he noticed that I wasn't that kind of girl, we summed it up as sisters and brothers. So he started providing his services in the community. And I'm not talking about taking out no trash. He started sleeping with women, a comedian. Then he slept with my god sister. Then he slept with another friend of mine.
Right, but why is that affecting you? I mean, I'm just talking about from the standpoint of, you know, she's claiming that she had a sisterly and brotherly relationship with him. She alleges that the content of their rapport, of their relationship, was as brother and sister and purely professional. Then she states that as soon as he got on, he forgot about her while she included him in all of her quote-unquote skits. Maybe he was with you, allowing himself to be included in your skits, because he was helping you out by doing that. And now that he had an opportunity to move onward and upward, he didn't feel like you were that talented. Just because you want to be involved in the entertainment industry doesn't mean that you should be. Like, you have a lot of cats out here trying to rap, trying to sing, and no disrespect, a lot of motherfuckers out here can't rap or sing, but they trying to do it. It seems to me that she may be a little jealous that the industry may be hearkening to him more than it is to her, and she's resentful towards him because she can't take it out on the management of these various businesses that are asking him for his services and not asking her. And you'll have that too a lot. You may have people who started out in a 5-person singing group and the industry only wants 1 or 2 of them. And the other 3 act like they got jilted. It's not that they got jilted, it's that they didn't have any talent. And it's very obvious to me that there is something there in regards to her attraction for him. Because why are you bringing up who he slept with in the industry and you don't get down like that? I mean, no disrespect. I don't think anybody was checking for your coochie.
Did they laugh?
They always laugh. My brother got talent, so that's how I say it.
I don't know if the woman laughed afterwards. That ain't talent.
I don't think they laughed after he disrespected them out loud on Facebook. They was offended, and I also have letters from them.
Look, let me say this quickly, brothers. Don't get involved with all that Facebook shit. At best, it's feminine to be going back and forth because 9 times out of 10, these dudes are going back and forth with women. You don't go back and forth with a woman. That is debasing. As you can see, in many of these court cases, it involves some type of exchange of Facebook insults, especially when both the plaintiff and the defendant are women. For a man to be going back and forth with a woman in real time all over the internet, it's silly, and it is emasculating. It is self-emasculating. The woman is a child until she gets to be about 45 years old, and then she starts to mature, and that's only some of them. I remember one of these videos, I think it was a Tyrese video, somebody made a comment, will Tyrese start to mature at 45? It depends on the energy that he has. If he's someone who's flooded with female energy, you never know when a lot of these males in this society will start to mature because they have the wrong type of energy in them. It's like a car that has the wrong type of gasoline. It's not going to run right. A lot of these guys have a lot of female energy because of how they were raised, their environment, and just the society in general. They're trying to marginalize the male aspect, the male principle. They want to exalt the feminine principle. Either way, you can't get caught up in all that Facebook silly shit. At best, you're self-emasculating yourself. At worst, it can get you killed.
I was hurt, and I started thinking about everything that I done. I even loaned him money.
Hurt by what?
Look at the judge. The judge is getting exasperated because I think even he's starting to feel like, man, you're catching a lot of feelings for a chick who claims that that's just your brother.
By me helping him out, putting him in all my skits.
Let me hear from you, sir.
Thank you, Judge Mathis. How you doing?
Good.
This female right here is very disrespectful and evil, and the allegations she's putting against me is totally false. She actually brought all this matter upon herself by making a post about me first. And just,
let me ask you. You all were good friends at first, right?
Allegedly.
Right.
Yes.
What changed that?
Changed that. I believe she's just jealous of my career.
I see that also. I believe that as well. I think that she's upset that he did not bring her along as he's slowly climbing the comedic ladder. And that comedic field, like any other field in the entertainment industry, is cutthroat. It is cutthroat. By the time those guys get to the top, most of them are drug addicted. Many of them are alcoholics. And they've stabbed a bunch of people in the back just to get on that stage with the spotlight on them.
Of how I'm
Tell me the first instance in which you all noticed.
And pansexuals also, by the way. They do have to sleep with males, females, anybody who can help them get to another level. So when she says that he was sleeping around, I believe that. Because that's the only way that you can get to an elite level in the entertainment industry. Period. It heavily involves sex magic. As I tell you brothers all the time, they venerate Pan, they venerate Bacchus.
Noticed there was a difference in your relationship, in which you noticed.
She started calling me and telling me about how jealous she was about other comedians, and I would tell her, don't worry about all these comedians. There's nothing to do with the comedians.
I believe what the brother's saying.
And she would say why I'm not doing this with her, why I'm not doing that. I have a manager, so I can't. Everything go through my manager. I can't just put her in something. This is a team. Me and my manager is a team, so we have to talk together before I put her in anything. So.
Well, that's the point. She thought that because she helped you get started on the chitlin circuit, that you were going to drag her up with you. That's why I stated earlier in the video, when you're talking about that entertainment industry, they don't want everybody. They just take one and they leave the rest. That's just how it goes. You know how many star singers started their careers in singing groups? And They may have went for some type of audition, and the manager, the recruiter, whoever said, you know what, we like you, but you got to get rid of the rest of those bums. That's just how it goes. I mean, no disrespect. Just looking at her energy, she doesn't seem funny. She seems clownish.
So she feel like I'm responsible to put her on everything I do. I never asked her to put me on anything.
I believe you. I believe you. I think that she tried to involve you because, as she stated in her initial testimony, nobody liked her and nobody liked him. So she pretty much said, well, you know what, maybe I can grab him and bring him over to me and we can team up because I can't get any energy. They dislike me and allegedly they dislike him, but they dislike him a little bit less. Maybe I could feed off of his energy. And I don't think that he ever was as fully invested in her as she was in him. A lot of these women, like I stated in the previous video, they try to form these pseudo wife-husband relationships with their professional partners. That's why I tell brothers there's a very thin line between that male-female friend stuff and what the female actually wants. The man will take the sex. Many times the woman is looking for a quote-unquote relationship. Many of them don't know what they want because they spend most of their life playing games with themselves and with whoever else was in their life, and now they see an opportunity to possibly take a married man. They know that he's marriage material because he's already married. And they figure, wow, maybe all the things that he does for his wife he'll do for me. And then beyond that, we have all these other things in common professionally. So cats just got to be very careful, man. But look, like I said, I don't tell cats what to do. It's up to you.
And I made her videos. I'm the funny one that made her videos because she don't nobody like this female.
I agree. She said that herself, so she can't deny it. She said at the start of her testimony, didn't nobody like me and didn't nobody like him. So we teamed together. Those were her statements.
Nobody like her. And I just believe that she's writing all this stuff on Facebook about my wife.
What did that come? You still haven't told me what you all did to each other.
I believe that she wants to sleep with me.
I agree. She want to lay down with you. She just doesn't want to admit it.
You all had any confrontation?
I never argued. I brought this woman into my house.
That was before. Did you ever argue even before she made that post?
We argued to the point where we argued to the point because I didn't want to be in her shenanigans and whole flood. I wouldn't.
All right, that's what it was about.
Right, you no longer wanted to be in her whack ass skits.
All right, then came all the usual stuff. Facebook.
Yes.
Posting nonsense on Facebook. It's for 20-year-olds, y'all.
Thank you, sir. That's why I say brothers need to stay away from that damn fake book, man. Fuck book, fake book, that's what I call it. It's just a bunch of silly, lonely-ass people trying to project a false image of themselves. Talking about, I got 7,000 Facebook friends. Yeah, you got 7,000 Facebook friends, but in real life, all you have is a vibrator. Why is that? You got 2 friends, a vibrator and a glass of wine. But on Facebook, you got 7,000 friends. The fuck out of here.
Oh, I agree. 20. All right. So who made the first post?
She did.
I did.
All right. What did you say?
My feelings were so hurt. I can't believe how
lonely I am. I can't get a man. And now this big, tall man I thought was my professional partner, I thought he was going to give me some dick, and he didn't. And I'm mad as hell. I'm going to put on a real tight bow tie now.
I had my brother back, and that how I loved him, and he, for an opportunity, he done me like that. And I was really mad because we had just
Let me see the post.
We had just back start talking.
We had just back start talking. Let me say this. You fall out with a bitch you ain't even getting no ass from. You should never fall back in with her. I don't understand cats with these different tumultuous relationships. Life is hard enough dealing with your significant other that you actually care about and who actually cares about you. Just keeping out all these random demons. You dealing with all these so-called platonic friends and you falling out with them and falling back in? Nah, we fall out. You got to have a nice day. I ain't got time for no dumb shit.
Just came to his house and bought his son a drop-top Benz on Crows with music because he was broke.
I didn't ask for.
And didn't have no money.
Let me see the post you put up, ma'am. I want to see you.
You buying all that for his son and you're not even his wife? Nah, you wanted that rod.
See, you
He
said
should
you
have
were the
that.
first.
I'm telling you what I did.
You have
Yes,
her
I do.
post?
Don't go away. There's more Judge Mathis after this.
Yeah, I mean, this is just so crazy.
It is, Judge. I agree, but it got to stop.
Judge Mathis, I brought this woman into my home, and
I
brought her into my home when she did the birthday thing.
Oakland on 73rd. I helped y'all get
Look at how eager she is to go back and forth with him and argue with him. This bro got feelings for this dude, man. Once again, brothers, you're dealing with these platonic females, man, that you claim are your friend. At least make sure that the broad is properly trained. It's one thing if you have to argue and bicker with your significant other, your wife or your girl or whatever you call her, the one who, you know, you have her back and she have yours, hopefully. And you going back and forth with her every once in a while, hopefully over something that is of some substance that you're arguing with your woman. But to have all these random chicks that are supposedly your friends and you going back and forth with them, come on now. That, you know, you got to clean out your closet. You can't have clutter in there. Having too many people who are not bringing positive energy into your life, that shit is clutter. You got to clean that shit out and, you know, that's spring cleaning. Goodbye. Goodbye.
She came into my home.
I ain't never spent the night at their house.
She spent the night at my house. Look, my dog barks when anybody come in my house. My dog read the Bible when she came in my house, Judge Mathis. That's how scary and evil she is.
The dog a punk just like him. The dog was running in the backyard
Judge Mathis, I got a picture of the Last Supper. When she came in my house, Jesus just packed all their food up and left off the picture.
He want to make some jokes.
Look at this dumb shit. This is why they can't catch on in the comedy world. They're so damn lame.
Some jokes, but let me tell you what he is. He a Facebook punk. That's what he is.
I agree. He's a Facebook punk because he's not supposed to be going back and forth with your dumb ass. He's supposed to ignore you. And really, to be quite frank with you, unless you have a business that you're operating, unless it's for business purposes, you shouldn't even really have a Facebook account. Because 90% of the shit that goes on Facebook is just a bunch of lonely people trying to see how much attention they can monger for and how much confusion they can cause in other people's lives so that they can forget about how much confusion is in their own life. Usually from their own doing. Bunch of fuckery, to be quite honest with you.
He is. He a Facebook
I can be all that.
He disrespect women all day long, even his wife. Post up pictures of
I'm not going to let you bring his wife in here. But I will.
Now look at what she said. She said all he does is disrespect women on Facebook, including his wife, and his wife is fat. So what she just did was disrespect the man's wife. Why is that? Because she's jealous of the man's wife. Because she wants him. She cannot acknowledge that, though, because he's married. That's really all it's about. He's probably one of the few men who pay her any attention whatsoever, or who used to. And as most dysfunctional liberal females in this society, once they get a man to give them even a little bit of attention, they start to lose what little composure they have. And that is why brothers are not supposed to give random females attention. You're only supposed to give the women attention that are important in your life, that being the women in your family and the ones that you're in a relationship with. All of these platonic so-called male-female friends and these random relationships, they're not going to bring anything but drama into your life in the long run. So, you should have as few connections as possible. What do I mean by that? Only what is necessary, nothing extraneous, especially as a so-called black man. Everything out here pretty much is a distraction for you, other than what is a necessity. And when I say a necessity, I'm not saying the bare minimum. I'm saying what you yourself need. You have to determine what you need in your life. All that extra shit can go. If you feel like you need 5 cars, if you can afford 5 cars, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with that. If you can afford it, if you're making millions a year and you want 5 cars and you feel like that's a necessity, then you can have that. If you want to have 10 women, you can afford 10 women, you know how to administer over 10 headaches, then go ahead and do that. But all that extra shit, you have to know what you don't need in your life. That's all, man. Like I say, I don't tell brothers what to do. It is what it is. You have to determine what's not necessary, because I promise you, anything in your life that's not necessary will eventually come back and try to bite you in the ass on the back end. The things in your life that are necessary are always going to be there for your benefit.
We'll look at this. What year was that when he tried to clown? Wasn't he married? Now you're going to mess with the man married.
Well,
yeah, because she's jealous. She wants the man, Judge.
He should be.
Where you at, sis? Remember he called you a fat bee? Have you saw his wife?
Still talking about the man's wife. Jealous as hell. And the wife looked better than her. Yeah, the wife is a little thick, but she looks better than her. The plaintiff looked like the damn violator from the Spawn movie.
Exactly.
Silliness. Help me out. You've been told me he was a bee, right? You said he was strong and pick you up, right? Where you at, sis? Same old nonsense.
It is. I agree.
Hello, please, in the name of Jesus, stop this. Who is this?
That's somebody else.
Hello, please, in the name of Jesus, stop this before it gets out of control. Take a vacation and find you some inner peace. The devil will seek, kill, and destroy you if you let him.
That's right.
Love you, and I want you. That's who you all need to be talking to.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I asked Jesus to take the wheel, but he showed me he didn't have a driver's license because he don't want to deal with her.
Well, Jesus only want, Jesus don't let no punks in heaven, and he only let real people in, and you ain't going, man. You ain't going.
All right.
These clown ass niggas, they love calling down the name of the Messiah in jest and in joke. That's all they do in this so-called black church is play games with the name of the Messiah. That's all they do. They think that shit is funny. And then they wonder why so many of them have lives filled with confusion and calamity.
Right, stop.
But I gotta let.
Stop it.
Yes,
You're going to get up there to St. Peter and he's going to tell you to turn around. Right.
Yes, sir.
Like that, don't you?
Yeah.
That'll preach.
I ain't gonna say nothing, stepdaddy.
Look.
Look at this crazy looking broad. I can see why she mad. That's probably the closest that she got to some dick in I don't know how many years. That partnership that she had with her comedic friend. He probably looked at her and said, bitch, you really must be joking now. You think I'm going to have sex with you.
LaVon Godfrey is mad because I never messed with her.
I agree. That's why the broad is mad.
It
hurt me.
I tell you.
I bet it did hurt you. You didn't get none of that rod.
What, crazy bee? Buy a big black toy. I'll just put it that way. Since you're telling everybody that my private part is big, and write Mario Hodge on it in big bold letters with a Sharpie. And then do something to yourself real good with it. You are funny.
Thank you.
Yes,
He not funny. He just lame. Grown ass man writing all that bullshit to a female. You know, have a nice day. Goodbye. All that silly shit over Facebook back and forth. I could see you speaking your mind, you know, as you're about to jettison that female out of your life. But going back and forth over Facebook, over some silly broad, come on, man. You're supposed to be thinking about your comedy career. Not going back with no tired ass broad, man.
Afterwards, put your in a casket because it's dead. like your comedy career.
Nah, her comedy career ain't dead because it never had life until she got on this show. This is the most publicity that she has ever gotten and ever will get.
Yes, sir.
Judge Mathis,
That's pretty bad.
It is, but I have.
What's pretty bad? What he said or the comedy? I think both are pretty bad.
I have voters and fans on my page.
I have a big following, and I just recently, not recently, but 2 years ago, I was booked by Charlie Murphy. Charlie Murphy booked me.
The late Charlie.
Yeah, the late Charlie.
He booked you for a comedy show, or did he hopefully book you at the local police precinct? Because them jokes were a crime. That shit was terrible.
The late Charlie Murphy.
God bless his soul.
I work with Adele Givens.
That's my friend. Good friend.
Just about, I work with all the big industry and work in the A-list clubs. She don't work in nothing but bars and stuff like that.
I believe you. And she probably do just work at bars. Most likely as a bartender, because they damn sure don't have her telling jokes. This chick is a clown.
Stuff like that.
That's not true.
She be next.
That's
She'll
not-
be on.
no,
She'll be
let me-
at
let
the
me
big
address
clubs
that.
next.
No, she won't. Especially if as she claims she ain't putting out. She's not going to be next anywhere.
Next.
I would love to address this to the courts. First off, I don't grind for club owners. I was raised with a family that only grind for themselves. Your Honor, he tried to blackball me and tell promoters not to book me. And I like to address his manager that I grew up with even told me Mario was in control of the shows. Okay.
Well, that shouldn't be a problem because you claim that you grew up in a family where you grind for your own. So you should be able to transcend that, allegedly.
So I went and got my
right, man. You too messy. What?
Thank you, Judge. Yeah, please. That bitch is messier than a damn oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, please, just bang your gavel on her dumb ass.
What's the counterclaim? Property damage and harassment. How does she owe you?
No, you can't say shit. We're going back to the defendant. Your goofy looking ass.
Oh, you've said enough mess.
She busted out my mother's windows, her car windows. She left a smiley face on the windows. We saw her drive away, but we couldn't catch up to her. I'm from Oakland, California. We really wanted to do something to her, but a lot of people called me from the nail and everybody and said, just handle it professionally in a legal way.
Yeah, just keep it professional, bro. A lot of times when people see that you're about to elevate and you're no longer going to be in their realm, they try to take a chunk of flesh out of your ass. That's why you have to move with discretion. You have to move with prudence and understand that many times when you are exhibiting the potential for upward mobility, the people who are content to stay at the level that they're at, they want you to stay there too because misery loves company. A lot of people only think that they're content with where they're at. They're really not, as long as everyone else is there and not moving along to make them feel like a loser. The plaintiff feels like a loser. She feels like she's lost out on her comedy career. She's lost out on this man. And she's about to lose the damn case, most likely. She's clearly jealous of this man's wife, and she clearly wants this man. That's why, once again, brothers, please be very wary of establishing any type of platonic relationship with modern-day liberal females. Be very wary of that. And look, like I said before, I know certain people are not going to like what I'm saying. I don't give a shit. It's okay.
So what I did was I couldn't obtain the police order, but I got a restraining order.
No.
Yes, I got it right here.
That with you?
Yes.
And I got a cease and desist letter, Your Honor, for him.
Cease and desist from who? The comedy club? Because they need to be giving you a cease and desist letter. Because you're not funny at all.
For him.
Cease and desist doing what?
I don't want, listen.
Doing what?
Even the judge is picking up on her bullshit. Doing what? The man is not even bothering you.
Talking about
what?
me.
He's doing all the threatening.
For talking about you. But he has a restraining order. Was it approved?
Yes, it was approved.
All right, it was granted?
Yes.
And what is the harassment?
The harassment is she constantly, I got several things. She constantly keep calling my phone.
No.
This was she just got on my page yesterday.
Any evidence of the damaged property?
Yes, here's the windows here.
More of Judge Mathis when we return.
Tell me something that will convince me that she did it. Was she
I have
have
text messages and a phone recording that she's gonna come to my house and
Really? Let me see
yes.
that. In a phone recording?
Yes, it's a voicemail. They should be able to play it.
Hey, why you ain't answering the phone? Talked all like about my dead mama.
Yes, he did. I got the text messages.
This is serious. Now I want your head or your wife's head.
You see how she keep mentioning the man's wife? What did the wife do to this woman? Other than occupy the position that you wish you had. Once again, brothers, man. That platonic relationship spirit is off because oftentimes what a man will do when he has a female friend to try to prove to his wife that the relationship is not a threat to the quote-unquote marriage is introduce the platonic female friend to the wife. That only leads to more enmity between the so-called female friend and the wife because the female friend is looking at the wife like, this is who you prefer over me in her subconscious mind. That's how she's looking at it because the woman thinks comparatively. They just do. They assess and they look over every other woman to see, does this woman have a bigger ass than me? Does she have nicer breasts than me? Does she have nicer lips or nicer eyes or straighter teeth or longer hair? Yada, yada, yada. That's why if you're going to be dealing with other broads, at least be giving them the pipe. So that at least the other women can be satiated by the fact that they're getting some form of pleasure. They don't necessarily have a reason to feel like they have to maintain a facade. You don't feel like you have to introduce her to the wife to make the wife feel like she doesn't have anything to feel threatened about, because you're going to keep the other chick where she belong. You keep the main woman where she belong, and it's up to you. If your wife has already stipulated to you that she does not want you to have other women, then it's up to you to decide whether or not you want to risk it all. That's part of the discretion and the discernment of being a king, since cats always claim that they kings. It's up for you to figure out. Like I always say, every woman is a headache. So if you find one that's great and willing to satisfy you in every way and brings a lot to the table, then you have to consider it before you decide to take on another woman, whether it be as a so-called friend or as a concubine or another wife and all that. It's up to you to figure out. Just like before you make a purchase, you have to check your budget. So it is what it is.
Come from behind the eyes. Call me, tell me where you want to meet. Let's get this over with. Nah, you keep putting my mama in this, because that ain't coffee and stand on the property.
But she ain't been to my house, though.
I ain't been in your house.
Be quiet.
Thank you, sir. Just tell the bitch. Just be quiet. Old blonde hair having broad. Looking like the damn penguin.
Both of you all are guilty of harassment and emotional distress, so nobody's getting a thing in that area. And you have a lot of nerve. All this stuff you talk about, you claim somebody defamed you. Property damage, I believe she did it. $230 for the property damage. Have a good day.
Yeah, have a good day. Once again, brothers, moral of the story is you don't want to have any female friends. If it's a female friend, it should be somebody that you're talking to in the process of taking on as your main woman, your other woman, or what have you. Make sure that you're honest with yourself and as honest as you can be with everybody involved. Keep you out of a lot of dumb shit. And if you're working professionally with these women, you make sure that you maintain that barrier, that space, so that they don't get anything twisted. As she stated early on in her testimony, he tried to flirt with her, and she claimed that she turned him down. I think that the only reason why she turned him down was because he was married. So she keeps talking about the wife because she wants him to leave the wife so that he can take her. But anyway, peace.